Shrek is sort of Italian coded.
He's kind of the Don of the swamp.
Now that's interesting.
Isn't he?
So Christopher is donkey.
Yes, actually.
Right?
Oh, he's very donkey.
Carmela is the princess.
Well, I don't know.
Well, you don't know what happens, okay?
I've seen Shrek.
Well, welcome to a very special Halloween episode of The Outfit. I'm here, of course, with my co-host, Dr. Alana Hope Levinson. How are you, Alana?
Hello.
As you can see, we're dressed a little differently, given it is Halloween. And it's been suggested that by
mandated,
others, possibly,
be honest with your feelings, Dan.
For once.
You're not introduced yet.
Let's explain how you're dressed.
I'm dressed.
Let's start there.
In the a la Anthony Soprano of actually a show called The Sopranos that was on HBO for a while. And you're dressed like who?
Myself, but also the doctor.
Dr. Jennifer Melfi.
Yep, exactly.
And because it is Halloween, and because it's been suggested I could benefit from therapy, we're having a very special guest on this week to discuss the first episode of The Sopranos and engage in a little bit of talk therapy with us. He's the least Italian person I know, host of Your Kickstarter Sucks and Go Off Kings on twitch.tv. Jesse Farrar is here. And it is a podcast.
Oh,
he made a weird face unless you're listening to this podcast.
Yeah. He
He made a deranged face.
When we do my show, they say line, and then I know when to
and
talk.
you just mug. You do lots of big faces, right? Yeah.
That was for the thumbnail.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. Thanks so much. I wanted to say before we get started with the solution, I know that it's a Halloween episode. You actually didn't come with a costume.
No, I'm dressed as Fat Dad.
Is that a viral thing now?
It has now gone viral, yes.
Wow. Was it you, or are you the Fat Dad, or are you just dressed as him?
I don't want to.
Okay. Don't look behind the
this
screen.
is a costume.
Well, now I feel... Well, I'll give it to you anyway. I mean, I thought maybe you could just pop this on.
Oh, interesting.
I thought, and it's
an anonymous mask.
It's a friend of yours?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll find out.
So that's
Did you pay full sticker on this?
$10.
You got taken for
$9.99.
a ride.
You better be writing that off.
Did you buy this at the airport?
I went to Spirit Halloween.
Good God.
I'm giving Jesse a V for Vendetta Guy Fawkes' mask.
Well, it's not V for Vendetta. It's from Guy Fawkes.
Well, it's the Guy Fawkes mask.
But it's from Guy Fawkes.
I don't think he made the mask. I think he just had that face. Doctor, can you step in? I mean, he
didn't make the mask. The mask made him.
Oh boy.
That went more seamlessly. He has put on the mask now over his glasses.
I feel more comfortable now, honestly.
Me too.
Do you want to explain what your shtick is, what you do for a living?
What your podcast stream situation is?
You love getting this question at parent-teacher night. So just enlighten the rest of us on...
This has been a part of my journey as an entertainer, as a father as well. I am proud that I make my living making people smile. And I know...
Who have you made smile?
40-year-old software developer.
And that brings us to why we're doing this episode. As much as I love watching you two flirt, we have a greater purpose. And that is that our friend Jesse here, up until last night, had never seen The Sopranos.
I want to correct the record. I think I might have seen some of it 12 years ago.
Okay, you hadn't seen it.
So
I remember there was a pool, and I remember thinking at the end, that was boring. But I went into it with fresh eyes nevertheless.
Okay, again, bring the energy down a little bit.
Let's talk about not having seen that, what that means to both you and I, as people who have built their whole personalities and now part of our career on our obsession with the show.
That's interesting. You think Dan has a personality?
He brings it out sometimes.
I recently saw that more men now wear bracelets than eat stew, which blew me away.
I'm storming the Capitol over
That's
that
insane,
fact.
Yeah,
right?
that explains a lot.
That explains a lot, right?
I mean,
right.
You're nailing the crux of this, which is obviously I grew up surrounded by the people depicted in The Sopranos. This is part of why we wanted to have you on this episode, right? Because I feel like Alana and I both come from a similar cultural background where The Sopranos is very familiar to us, right? As a cultural thing.
Sure.
When I was growing up on Long Island, I remember being picked up by the bus driver, brought to school, and the morning show, the stupid idiot morning zoo talk show, would have a guy on a treadmill calling in every week to recap the episode. And people loved Tony.
You listen to the radio on the bus?
Well, the bus driver did. I had no choice in the matter.
That's interesting.
WBLI.
Wow.
Bunch of idiots. Ballistic Bob, I remember, was the color guy. How do I remember this? I don't know. But
That's fun.
The point was Tony Soprano was like a hero to these people. And the irony seemed lost on them about what was actually going on here. Alana, you come from a Italian Jewish background.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like even though you were in California, it sort of seeped in for you.
Yeah, I mean, my mom watched it. This was the golden age of television also. So this show, I mean, it kind of blew people's heads off. It's like, wow. I mean,
not everyone. Some people found the pool part boring.
Right. But, okay, but you're looking at it through a 2025 lens.
2013 in this case.
Yeah. Sure. Whenever you were looking, you had already reaped the benefits of how The Sopranos changed all the shows that would follow.
Like what?
This
Breaking Bad.
Never seen it.
This
what?
Mad Men.
Never seen it.
Are you serious?
I walked through the back of the living room while my wife was watching Mad Men.
Okay, but you call yourself an entertainer?
Yeah.
And you haven't seen these shows? How do you even have a podcast?
I do my own thing.
Okay. All right. I don't even want to know what shows you're watching.
Oh, no. Let's get into that. What are the shows you're watching in place of this?
Yeah, what's your favorite show?
Probably Beast Wars.
I mean,
I don't even know what that is. What is that?
Well, if you live in a glass house, sweetheart.
Wow, sweetheart. Okay, you got a little Tony.
Whoa.
You got a little Tony in ya.
He watched The Sopranos last night.
What part of the boot
bubbling.
you from, hon?
Yeah.
You know?
It's percolating. It's percolating. Yeah.
Okay.
I had Italian food last night.
What'd you have? What was your order?
Pupa de Becco?
I think it's called like Grumbos or something.
Grumbo?
Grumbos.
I think that's
What
what
is
it was.
Grumbos?
The Grumbos does not exist. I'm gonna
Lil
say that
Dom's?
off the bat.
I bet you went to Lil Dom's.
I went to a place that someone explained to me. I won't say who in case this is information that's privileged. They said that it is as if Little Dom's cared about the food. The place that we went.
We're getting into such local. So now, like, you're not even like the boy off the farm is dishing out East Side LA disses.
Yeah, very niche.
And plus, there's public parking, so it was.
Okay, now you're doing LA shtick, and frankly, I'm not into
Stop
that.
appropriating.
We thought the parking was going to be free because it's on a Sunday, but I guess
No,
they're
I know.
changing it.
I know. Let me stop you there. You're not allowed to do that. Okay. My culture is not a costume for you. Okay.
I do have one thing I want to say about the meal, which was it was good. I enjoyed myself.
That's one.
I had a pitch. We got the cannoli.
Did you leave the gun?
Here's what I'll say.
Huh?
Someone from Tennessee liking the Italian food in LA says it all.
I can't help you, Pard. You're on your own here.
Okay.
Listen.
Yeah. I'm sure you liked it.
Would I rather have had a Thai lettuce wrap around the corner? Of course.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Thai town is right there.
Yeah,
Why are they taking you to get Italian food?
Yeah, over at Grumbos.
The point was that I don't like Italian food, and then was shown that it can also be good, which is fine.
You are actually just racist against Italians.
I don't recall.
You don't like our Bible, which is the Sopranos.
Right.
You
also
don't like
the real
Italian
Bible.
Right.
Also the real Bible.
Yeah.
But that's okay. You cannot like that.
So Jesse, you did revisit this on our behalf, which we appreciate.
Of course.
And rewatch the pilot last night. Let me give the verdict. Just get it out of the way.
What are your just initial thoughts?
I think, to be genuine, I think obviously well-crafted art. Will I ever care what happens to anyone I saw? No. I'll never watch it again. I think I now can say I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I see what's interesting about this. But was my hand reaching for my phone a couple of times? Sure. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to look at my phone.
This was no 21 Bridges.
Well, that's good. This
is what I mean.
What do you mean? That's a good movie. It's a nonstop thrill ride.
Right. The murderers are going to escape through one of the 21 bridges connecting Manhattan with the other boroughs.
But I like how it escalates. I was like, well, it's not Bridge 1.
Right. Is it Bridge 20?
Yeah. What's next?
I don't know what that is.
I'm meeting Jesse where he is. Who was in 21 Bridges, by the way?
I want to say Chadwick Boseman.
Okay.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, that's actually... Okay, now you're selling it.
Yeah.
Don't listen to his lies. Okay. Memento. Tattoo it on yourself. So, okay. Well, that's generous. You're being honest here. Now, obviously, everyone else, this was a transformational show.
Not the pilot, though. Not the pilot.
The pilot is interesting. Let's talk a little bit about the pilot. The pilot was greenlit without, obviously, as pilots are, without a promise of a season then being picked up. So it is shot in a way where David Chase, the creator of The Sopranos, could have finished it as a movie. And that was his plan if it didn't get picked up for a series. And I think you can see that a little bit, right? But the basic premise is Tony Soprano is in therapy for the first time. He is uncomfortable. He is there because he has started having panic attacks where he collapses. And it's dangerous and it's scary. And that's what got him into therapy. And he has a lot of stress. He has this beautiful McMansion. He has the wife and kids. He has a stressful job. And then it's revealed when he starts brutalizing a man who owes him money. He's a mobster, of course. This is the one difference. Did you get that part of it?
That's the most subtle part.
My understanding was he worked in waste management.
Waste management consulting.
Beg your pardon.
Yeah.
I was looking at my phone.
Missed that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm sorry if I spoiled that for you, that he's in the mob.
I was waiting. I was like, well, where's the dumpster? You see one dumpster.
Yeah, no wonder you were bored. Because
right.
Is he going to drive the truck?
Imagine a show just about a guy in waste management.
I kind of like that.
Well, I mean, there's a diagnosis for that. But the
I like when it drives by my house.
Yeah. Do you ever forget to put the cans out? Come on, be real with us. You ever chase out there after it?
No, I have a very long driveway.
His wife's putting the cans out.
Excuse me?
Oh dear.
That's the kind of dynamic.
Sore spot. Don't go there.
Okay.
No.
You're too busy on Twitch. You're Twitch streaming.
We've only just met.
For 12-year-olds.
I like this is the first thing you're offended by.
I'm a therapist, and I can already tell your wife's putting the cans out.
Well,
okay?
Maybe I wouldn't stream on Twitch if that were the case.
Yeah. You do have a long driveway, and I do have some notes on the grass clippings, but putting that to one side.
Of course.
Let me ask you, we see Tony's house. He goes out to get the paper. He talks about feeling like the best is over. I feel like as a suburban dad with a beautiful home, with a long driveway like Tony's.
Well, this is really nothing, but yes.
Big time in Tony here.
Wow.
What do you think of the house? What do you think of the trappings of Tony Soprano's life as we meet him? Because I feel like you would have something interesting to say about that.
I always do. This is something that is true about me and maybe speaks to my banal suburban dad mind, is that when I go to a restaurant, say Grumbo's, or I go into any business, or anyone's home, or anyone's podcast studio, you start thinking
it's
like,
not ours.
I can't. Oh, honey, I know. But
honey,
you do start to think, if you're me, I wonder what they have to do to turn $1 here. I wonder what.
Well, that is us.
What's the monthly upkeep at this restaurant?
Mm-hmm.
And so when I see a business that seems like, well, I think the common one, and maybe you touched on this by this point, the mattress industry is always a fun one to think about. You go
pure
in there,
money laundering.
You go in there and you say, what could possibly be the monthly nut of mattress
How
firm?
many mattresses do you need to sell
and
to
what's
make
the margin
even just
on
the
the
rent?
mattress?
It's insane.
Forget about it. And sorry for saying forget about it. I don't know if that's
forget about it.
Put a little spin on it. Put a little mustard on it.
Forget about it.
Nailed it.
Somehow that was still Southern.
But I do that so I'm looking at Tony's house and I go, he must be doing well. And I'm thinking,
spot the lie.
I'm looking at the landscaping and I'm thinking he's not doing that. Obviously, he's playing in the fucking pool. So he's got a landscaper as well, and maybe he's coming over and stooping the misses. I don't know what the.
Suddenly
I
we have a spec script coming from the maestro here.
No, I think this is fan fiction.
This is fan fiction.
That's what this is.
And he's pregnant? I mean, it's
I'm then pregnant.
You can go a number
You
of
got to
different
keep
directions.
watching then.
Yeah,
because that does sort of...
I'll keep watching.
Maybe not the gardener, but...
You mean to tell me I'm Junior?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Uncle Junior.
Because there's Uncle Junior.
Yeah, right.
That's what my mind went to. So yeah, I see Tony and I wonder, does he have a little bit of a golden handcuff there? Does he feel...
Maybe a regular handcuff too.
Well, by the end of this show, we'll see. I think that's what happened at the end.
Some golden handcuffs were placed on him.
It goes to black and he's just arrested. Well,
I mean, it's kind of not
the symbolism.
Not totally crazy.
That's interesting.
But look, this is you're right. Like David Chase, the creator of the show, said The Sopranos is about money and death. Those are the two subjects of the show. And he talked about when he was making it in the late 90s, and this is really kind of funny to me. He felt America was so disgustingly materialistic that was what the subject of the show would be. It would be so sickening that even a mobster would be sick of it. And this was in 1997, 1998, which is a relative paradise to us at this point, right? It got so much worse in the years since then, if I may editorialize.
It shows his lack of imagination as a creator almost.
That is such a good troll. I can't even be angry at it, Oh, it's
nothing compared to you on Twitch, honey.
Yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. So I'm glad to hear that hit as a Southerner, that you still like. Let me ask you this though, because obviously with Trump barnstorming the South, and that being his base, I'm always thinking about how weird it is that, like, literally, when my dad drove through Texas and would stop at gas stations, people could not understand him. And I do not think of him as having a thick accent or whatever, but he was speaking so quickly and in an accent that they didn't like. I wonder, like, as a Southerner watching this, like, do you feel like, what do you feel when you see these people in this totally different milieu?
Of course it feels foreign. It's interesting to watch. I mean, I think as Alana alluded to, is that it is obviously a cultural touchstone and inflection point for not only the time it was released, but what it inspired and so forth. So in some ways coming to it at this time period it does feel like a parody. But it speaks to the production, the value of the production and the obviously the thoughtfulness behind it, that it doesn't immediately read as goofy. Like, I'm not laughing when I'm not supposed to be laughing, but the temptation is there, certainly. But I think that's what's good about it. There's obviously moments in the show that, even as self-serious as it is, it's funny. I understand why you can find it funny, and why you need it, because the tension is always there too. So yeah, they all seem larger than life to me, even when they're not. And so maybe for me, there's a little bit of a calibration of like, would these people not think it's weird for the priest to be hanging around in the house? Like, am I laughing too hard at that? Like, is that too insane to me and not quite that insane in this context,
No, that is, I mean, I don't know if you can speak to this, Alana, but the weird priest was a type of priest. And it absolutely was.
I think it made the news.
More than once. And the thing is, it's also a type of guy. Rudy Giuliani is a weird priest, even though he is not a priest.
Interesting.
Does that make sense? Like,
yes, I don't know how it makes sense, but it feels right.
He is a weird priest. Martin Scorsese, possibly a weird priest.
Okay.
And thank God he became a...
Dad, you're a weird priest. Can you see it?
The therapy just got fucking real in here. Okay? This is uncomfortable for me.
Yeah.
I don't actually know about this because my mom grew up Catholic and then became like very anti. Yeah, so I don't know anything about
going to San Francisco and getting away from this.
So priests have always freaked me out, and I don't get it.
Well, and this is going to be a subject in later episodes where we meet Tony's sisters who have gotten away and are not immersed in this world anymore.
Them.
And they're fantastic characters. But
do they also work in waste management consultancy?
They do not. And
that's fun.
If anything, a little twist for you.
Okay.
Not everyone works. By the way, I'll tell you after. They don't actually work in waste management.
I don't.
Okay. But yeah, so Tony, obviously, the great metaphor here is one that we love on this show, right? Which is the mob explains everything. And that at the core of it, the mafia explains capitalism. It explains how people relate to each other. And later in the show, it suggested maybe Tony's a sociopath. And something I find really scary is I don't think he is. I think he is so sick of this life that he has to, and Carmela, his wife, they have to make excuses for why things are the way they are so that they can live with themselves. And I was wondering do you do anything similar at home?
That's a really pointed question, and I'm happy to answer it. Now, you said Carmela was his wife?
Yeah.
Now, was she the lady on the boat he was kissing?
Oh, dear.
Oh, okay. How do we...
Jesse. Tony loves mommy, obviously.
Right.
But Tony also loves a lot of other ladies, too.
I didn't understand
There's this thing called the Madonna whore complex.
Very big with
that
Italians.
The show might be sort of exploring.
And Jesse, before you ask, it's not just the lady who sings Borderline. Okay?
I'm sitting here going, I don't remember the cone bra showing up at any point in the...
Got to keep watching, first of all.
I mean, what is going on with that stuff, huh?
Paulie Walnuts does wear the cone bra at one point, but that's a later episode.
Okay.
No, in all seriousness, like I feel like, Jesse, we end up just whining a lot to each other about various horrible men in the news.
Sure.
Sometimes not us, who, are just vindictive and horrible and petty and all this stuff. And I feel like this was very ahead of the curve, right, on capturing a lot of this. Like we even see in the opening credits, the World Trade Center reflected in the side mirror.
Right.
Like this is how long ago it was, right?
Before 9/11.
Did it know? Did they know?
What did they know?
Could they have done something about it?
They need to go back and put the Freedom Tower there.
Or Spider-Man.
And we'll cut that out. But, I always thought it'd be cool if after 9/11 they put nothing in the side mirror.
Oh, how would they even do that? Because the camera saw it in the
CGI.
Right.
Yeah.
But this was before a lot of computers.
They could have put Shrek in there or something. I'm sure.
Yeah. And then I saw her face.
Shrek chasing like the T-Rex.
That's one of my two favorite things.
Shrek?
I love Shrek.
You love Shrek?
I love Shrek.
I mean,
it's like my comfort movie.
You watch Shrek a lot?
Oh, yeah.
Is that an Italian thing?
I don't know.
Shrek is sort of Italian coded.
He's kind of the Don of the swamp.
Now that's interesting.
Isn't he?
So Christopher is donkey.
Yes, actually.
Right?
Oh, he's very donkey.
Carmela is the princess.
Well, I don't know.
Well, you don't know what happens, okay?
I would say stop what you're doing right now.
Just forget the Sopranos.
Don't bother. You want to talk about somebody with a vision.
You want to talk about a complicated male anti-hero?
Right.
Shrek.
Right.
God, that's true, isn't it?
It is true. But we don't have Shrek without
Gandolfini. I think
no, we don't. We don't. Let's just start there.
When Gandolfini was auditioning for this.
Okay, are we talking about Lord of the Rings?
What would he have been in Lord of the Rings?
I thought we were talking about Shrek, and now you've moved on to Lord of the Rings.
I also love Lord of the Rings.
Gandolfini.
Gandolfini, when he was auditioning for the show, told his girlfriend, they're going to give it to some pretty boy and fuck it up. They're not going to cast me, right? And when he did the first audition, he walked out halfway through. He said, this sucks. I did terrible.
That's so
and he walks
Tony.
out.
I respect that a lot.
How fucking cool.
Do you know who
That's
else
amazing.
they were looking at?
Yeah, I do.
Timothy Chalamet, I think, was up for it.
He was up for it.
Timmy.
The guy from The Bear, he was up for it.
Oh, man, that would have been good.
Ugh.
Hey, I got to pop my shit off a little bit. He's always taking his shirt off.
I got to make all this food.
He's also always like running through the streets with bouquets. Do you know this? In real life.
In
The
real life?
actor. Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah. He has a thing where he makes bouquets with his daughter every weekend or some shit. And so just every paparazzi photo is him. He's pandering. Come on.
Yeah, well,
That's too much.
If
That
you
makes
look
me
up,
sick.
It's sickening.
I'm going to say this. You look up James Gandolfini paparazzi, different vibe.
Very.
A lot of shoving.
You know how Tony was like, everything is, all the best is behind us. And I kind of, obviously that's a main theme of the show of like, this time is the worst time and society is fucked. It's kind of quaint now watching it because I'm like,
just wait.
Just wait, buddy.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel that way about leading men.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say that.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I do like Timmy, I gotta say, but I'm just like, they don't make him like they used to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
You know? You don't agree?
I'm interested in your perspective.
Okay. Yeah, I just think that...
such an interesting way of responding to that.
That is some sort of psychological torture that I don't know what you're doing.
Oh, this is...
Do you see what I'm saying?
You're boxing a glacier right now. This is what's happening.
I am.
You know?
Well, it's called active listening.
Well, okay, what contemporary sort of leading men do you really like?
The Ninja Turtles.
Fair. Fair play.
You play the whole Chris Pratt catalogs, right? You're just a big Chris Pratt puppy dog, aren't you?
Who's that? Wait, there's all those Chris's? Hemsworth.
A lot of Chris's. Too many Chris's.
Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt. What's the other one?
Pine is another one.
No idea the difference between the Pine and the Hemsworth.
Alana,
if you put a gun to my head.
Come now.
Which Chris
and
is
that could happen. Yeah, at any
Tony
moment.
would.
Tony
He'd
would.
put a gun to your head and say, which Chris is this?
Yeah, right.
I was saying, go into your feelings.
You're
now.
a hick. Did you watch TV? Yes, of course I did.
I think we've covered that for about 40 minutes.
That's been the theme.
Terrific.
Did anything feel emotionally true? Like, for example, and this might be an Italian thing or maybe just slightly abusive household childhood memories, but I love his mother reminds me of my grandmother, just the scariest woman alive. Nothing's ever good enough. Also, when Tony is talking to Chris Moltisanti, I think at the barbecue on the porch, and he starts out very loving. Chris is like, you never give me any, classic millennial, you never give me any positive feedback. And he's like, you're right, I should. And then he goes into a blind rage and then he goes back to being loving again. I was like, there's something very real to me about that.
That's
but I'm like, maybe other cultures aren't like that.
That's kind of us.
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting.
We're watching it right now. It's like, do you hate him or love him? I can't tell. And that is
I guess I do think
Italian.
of you as sort of my fuck up nephew.
Oh, I thought you were Christopher in that scenario.
That's interesting.
This is how Christopher would dress current day. That was the
Where's my bottle
attack.
of tequila? Oops.
He does
Sorry.
those
I'm so sorry.
Wow.
Playing
footsie?
Getting violent.
I'm so sorry.
Playing footsie?
No, I'm not.
Demanding tequila and kicking a woman. Interesting turn for this podcast episode.
Are you going to sit on a dog and kill it later?
What?
Spoiler.
Yeah, see, this is why you need to... I will say, I don't think I love the pilot. I think it's incredible. But it took me like 6 episodes to be actually invested. Because there's so many good things coming. For example, Chris Moltisanti sitting on his girlfriend's little Pomeranian or some shit.
Thought it was crawling under for warmth.
And then killing it. Yeah. I mean, it's too good.
I don't...
You did that.
I don't think
once.
It's good to... it was a possum. It wasn't a dog, but it's...
Yeah. It was a pet, though.
To answer your question, everyone in this show feels like a cartoon character to me. No one feels normal. It doesn't relate to my experiences whatsoever. I can't even fathom who would be the closest analog. No, my grandmother was not a sociopath.
No, but here's the thing. When I watch Righteous Gemstones, even though, that's a comedy, it couldn't be further, but I'm like, oh God, of course. Just like these 3 siblings obsessed with daddy's approval. Like I can get a little ounce out of that.
Interesting.
Getting sincere here, something that made me laugh a lot rewatching this that I forgot about is Tony goes to the therapy and then is hanging out with all his disgusting cartoonish cronies.
Yeah.
And he starts aping the therapy speak.
Yes.
And this, I feel like, is a real thing that happens.
No, that is really good.
Talking helps. And hope comes in many forms.
And they all agree, which I love. He's so concerned about being ostracized for this mutation he's undergoing. And they all, and maybe this is what's happening to him too. He's agreeing without realizing it. They're agreeing without realizing it because there's truth in it and they all feel that way on some level or another.
And they're like, David Chase said the secret to writing The Sopranos was the characters always say the opposite of what they mean. Which is interesting.
Speak on that.
I'm like, I don't know. Like, I like how I'm like, that was good. But then I was like, what does that actually even mean?
Be true.
Yeah, like I'm like, what?
What he means is that they communicate whatever they really feel, they are communicating the opposite of that. Because they're so based on deceit and lies and all this, right? They're saying talking helps and hope comes in many forms. They're talking about they committed arson on their friend's restaurant.
Yeah. No, I get it.
And are now lying to him about it.
Well, he
right?
wouldn't listen. They tried to give him a...
Right. This is the logic of this world.
I'm going to drop a major spoiler.
Here we go.
But even when he kills Chris.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If you haven't seen it, it's been
You've had time.
20 years?
Yeah.
It's like a weird act of love.
It's some very sick shit.
It's the sickest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's like even how he does, it's the whole thing is just like, he's like, he loves Chris probably more than his own son. And yet he still kills him. So.
Well, and this is.
I won't pick up the rest of the show.
No. If you didn't get, though, rewatching the pilot, that little fucker has it coming. Like, when I was watching the pilot, I'm like, it's so obvious that he's just, like, going to get killed.
It's interesting that Jesse thought I was the one most like Chris. And that means you would kill me down the line.
You have it coming. You do it, you have to admit. You simply should be killed.
He is kind of like Chris, where he's like, Hollywood wants me to...
Oh, God.
Write a script.
He tells you this, too?
Yeah.
Ugh.
That is very Dan-coded.
So therapy, making a better gangster is another thing that happens in this, right? When he's talking about this, something that David Chase talks about in talking about the series is that Melfi is as compromised as everyone else on the show, which was not my read on it initially.
Oh, really?
That Dr. Melfi makes a deal with the devil and even agreeing to see Tony. And I thought this was an interesting thing because I never thought of it that way. But his perspective is Melfi, from the beginning, knows what this guy is, tries to treat him, kind of kids herself about who she's dealing with. And all she ends up doing is making him better able to cope with a nightmarish existence where he hurts other people. And it reminded me that I heard a lecture once by a guy who talked about how meditation is morally neutral. And his perspective on this was, during World War II, the Japanese military made their guys meditate, and it made them better kamikaze pilots. So it's like, yeah, it made them better at it, but the morality was divorced from it, know? And I feel like this is an interesting thing with the show that obviously it's just the first episode. We're just getting a taste of it, right? But that I don't even know if there's a way out for Tony, Everything is a hustle for him. He says later, the hustle never ends for wise guys. And I feel like, Jesse, you as host of Your Kickstarter Sucks.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Every week is another fucking scam. Really? I mean, and
that's just on our Patreon.
And that's just you doing the scamming. But I think it speaks to the fact that the scams Tony is talking about in this episode, I think are also interesting. Garbage.
Yeah.
Right? Insurance fraud. That's the piece de resistance he comes up with, that they're going to start scamming them through HMOs, right? And big business. And I feel like, what is your perspective watching this as somebody who, your job is really devoted to just cataloging all these horrible scams all day, every day?
Yeah, well, I think it's the same thing that he's saying in the show, which is, what is the distinction between a scam and a legitimate business? What's the difference between an honest man?
It's like you've listened to our podcast
and a dishonest
before.
man.
Yeah.
I have not been able to find it. I just don't. But that's true. I mean, one of the things that there's, as you allude to, there's innumerable categories of Kickstarter or crowdfunding scam, or even just gadget or doodad or technology or whatever. But for instance, one of them that comes to mind frequently to me when I try to take an angle on something I think might even be halfway interesting is established companies crowdfunding on Kickstarter for products. And you think that really seems not to be the reason, if you can come up with one, for the website. If I were a Kickstarter, I would be pitching, and they've never asked.
Right.
I would be pitching, this is an awesome place for independent artists and creators to connect directly with their fans. We help that we lubricate that transaction, and we connect people directly, and they get exclusive access and perks they can't get anywhere else. Plus, hey, on the back end, we're able to connect these creators with distribution, better analytics, just a software platform that they wouldn't have access to because they don't have these resources. That to me is like borderline ethical way to consume content or art or produce or whatever.
Almost seems like the only game in town out there at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But instead it's like, hey, we came up with a battery and Samsung gave us $300,000 in this competition to design a battery. And now if you give us $175 now, you might get it in Q4 of 2027. And if not,
sorry,
fuck you. Like,
right.
That's so strange too. But it illustrates like, well, there's very few differences between that and buying something on Amazon, for instance. It's like, did this even come out of the right barrel at the headquarters? And God forbid you think about who produced it or how it got there or how it got to you or anything else. And it breaks in 6 months. And what's the difference? You might as well get ripped off.
Yeah. Right. I mean, this is the nasty mentality here. And we'll start to wrap up here talking about the long life of this show. Something I think is very interesting is, to that point, The Sopranos has become very, very popular with Zoomers and Gen Z. And I think part of the reason for that is that mentality you're talking about. That's all they've known, right? Yeah. This is the culture that they've known. This is it, right? There's not the boomer thing of like, oh, it was so good. I mean, like Tony talks about it all the time. It was so good long ago. We had it so good. Now it's gone, you know? First off, that's a myth. The whole show is about what a myth that is. But second, the Zoomers don't have that illusion.
Yeah.
This grim reality is all they know, right? And you're right. Like, I mean, as you're describing like that example of the Samsung thing, that's a pigeon drop scam. That's a known con game, you know? But big business is doing it now. I remember something that, like, it was one of the first crowdfunding things where it did this. Zach Braff crowdfunded a movie.
That's right.
And I was like, okay, I know it's hard to get financing for movies, but also fuck you, you know, right? Like
the Garden State guy?
Yeah, like, you know, it's like, I don't know. But look, do you, Zach Braff in the Garden State, but, you know.
It's the attitude, yes, not only of young people for whom hustle is indistinguishable from work.
Yeah.
And for reasons I completely understand and sympathize with to a certain extent. But it's pervasive in every industry, even ours. It is interesting that, for instance, you know, two total nobodies can get a show together, and it's
you and
Mike,
DB.
And it's
so I know who's been giving me the 1 stars.
I'm sure it's not just him.
We have sort of a bot farm,
and
it's but of course, it's compelling and interesting and educational and funny and everything else. And it gives an opportunity for people who, you know, I had no job before I was a podcaster or streamer.
Some would say you still don't.
Some people do. And I think some people now are learning it's actually a lot harder than they thought that it was. But you know, I didn't have that. And it's a lifeline for me. And I've made a life out of it. And I feel very fortunate for that. And then you think about like what else is happening, and it's like, well, I have 6 weeks in between movies. I think I might fart out a rewatch. Maybe I'm watching the Shrek movies with my celebrity friends, and we're going through them and blah blah blah.
Yeah, you and Josh Gad doing a live stream of
we're watching
Shrek. Yeah,
you're brainstorming a reboot.
Yeah,
Josh Gad is going to get his mitts on the Shrek franchise, is he not?
But it's like that's my axe to grind is like you said, fuck you. You don't need it. You know, you don't need it. You wipe your ass with what we claw and scratch to get. And it's so frustrating to see that. And it must be for Kickstarter creators. It must be for the mafia as well. They must be fucking crying in their red tablecloths. But it's annoying. It's everywhere you go.
I mean, there's a great scene in a later season where they try to shake down a Starbucks for protection money.
I have seen this, yes.
And there's literally no way to do it. And they walk out, and then the punchline is Patsy Parisi says, "It's over for the little guy."
Yeah.
You know? Like,
so real.
It's so great, you know?
Yeah.
So let's start to wrap up here by saying it's also a show about, obviously, again, to drop a therapy buzzword, toxic masculinity.
Oh, yeah.
Parenting, mother, you know, and we were talking about this too, that it was very revolutionary at the time to have an anti-hero as the hero. That was not done
especially
on
in
TV.
TV.
Really. And now we were just talking about this. I feel like we need some good guys.
It's a little bit much. It's become too much of that.
Yeah.
I need a guy. I need a
Shrek.
hero. I need Shrek. Okay.
Although you say Shrek is an anti-hero, and I disagree.
No, I think he's a
He's a little cranky, but
Oh, he is cranky.
look, don't get on his bad side.
Well, ask Donkey.
You know?
you're right. He does kind of abuse Donkey.
He abuses Donkey.
One of David Chase's writers, Matthew Weiner, went on to create Mad Men. And I'd actually argue that's where this was kind of perfected. Like, I think Don Draper is actually, I mean, I love The Sopranos, but if you're talking to me about like character development of an anti-hero, Don Draper is really is like the most nuanced one.
I'm going to Mark strongly disagree here,
Okay.
but that's just me.
Okay.
And I know you haven't seen it either, but
I've seen some of it.
Yeah, I mean, the point
Can't win
is
here.
for decades, now I'm a little over it, but just kind of the psychology of flawed
But that's the
men was
point,
all
right?
we were exploring, you know?
and now it's like, I don't know about you. I look around in the news. I'm like, I would kind of like not one of these guys to be in control of everything in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, maybe that's why, we just, we talked about this a lot, Dan, but on YKS, we just did, October, we did American Movie, which I had never seen before and was
Great
very
movie.
happy for Mike to have introduced it to me with our friends Chris and Brian. And I don't know, maybe part of why I was so in love with those guys is that it is the sincerity and the genuine affection. And also the tragedy of the whole thing, which is like, they didn't get out of the mud. That was it.
Mhm.
That was the whole
That was-
thing.
yeah.
So there's no I wouldn't say there's no arc, but there's no redemption.
But those guys kind of are heroes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And they are good people, even if they're flawed.
Yeah.
And you're rooting for them. Right.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a bummer that we're at the point where we need that. But like Jesus, when that new Superman movie came out, that was like a bomb,
It was funny to watch people love Superman.
It's like the most boring superhero there is. And I was
Yeah.
like, please, God, I need to go see this,
Right.
See him.
Just a palate cleanser.
He
Yeah.
beats up some bad guys. It was like,
Wow.
oh my God, we
Yeah.
needed it so bad.
Or
Yeah.
maybe we just need more women who are.
Well, I don't
So
know.
moving
It's
on,
just-
it's let's start to wrap up here. Jesse, I have flat out plagiarized a frequent recurring segment on your show, YKS, Real or Fake.
wow.
We're going to play a round of Real or Fake today. It's going to be mob names.
Oh boy.
I'm going to give you a mob nickname. Please play along at home. And you have to tell me if it is a real mobster name
From the real world.
from the real world
Okay.
or whether it's a fake one that I came up with.
Just Jesse or me too?
You're both playing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm going to start with Alana. I'm going to start nice and easy. Alana.
Fake.
True.
Lucky guess.
T.
Number one, Bugsy.
Is that real or fake? Real.
Yes. That was a gimme. Okay.
Of course,
And-
you give me the Jewish mobster.
Okay. Don't make that a
I
thing.
mean,
I'm
Sexism, anti-Semitic. Here we go. Here,
Wow.
it's starting.
okay. This
Bugsy
is-
Bunny, of course, known for his carrot heist of 1928.
Now, how fun would
Okay,
that
I'm
be?
sorry. He is pretty funny.
That's a lot of fun, isn't it?
That was good.
You
That's
should
a
have
lot
put the V for Vendetta mask on after
You
that.
should pitch that one.
Yeah.
to
Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I think
Yeah.
you got a shot.
probably.
CJ, can you keep track of the score, by the way?
Yeah,
I'll
by
try
the
to-
way.
Jesse. So I just said Bugsy for Lana. Puggy.
Puggy. Well, he's an ornery fellow, isn't he? I think, Dan, that you reached into your bag of tricks for this. I believe Puggy is inspired perhaps by Wednesday, now on HBO Max, plus,
So you're saying
minus,
fake.
fake.
You are wrong.
Fuck.
Puggy, of course, Irving Feinstein, murdered with an ice pick in 1939. Thank you.
Bad way to go.
Not the best way to go. Alana,
Mhm.
sack lunch.
Wow, that's a really tough one. You
These
know?
are mobster names or your
That's-
nicknames from high school?
Could be both.
Yeah.
Fake.
Correct.
Really tough, but fake.
Correct. It's a fake movie from Seinfeld starring
You're not giving me
Dabney
easy
Coleman.
ones at all, though.
Jesse. Benny Eggs.
Benny eggs. Benny eggs. I think you were looking at the IHOP menu as you are wont to do to tease yourself. I'm going to say that one is fake.
Benny Eggs is Venero Mangiano of the Genovese family involved in the Windows case of rigging city contracts on window replacement in public housing. Quite
Jesus
real.
Christ.
I'm sensing a theme. If you wanted to win this game, that maybe you could.
I will pick up on it very soon.
Okay.
Alana,
Mm-hmm.
the Pizza Man.
Real?
Correct. Alphonse Tornabene from the Chicago suburbs. Jesse, Junior Lollipops.
Junior Lollipops.
Oh, that's tough.
Jeez Louise. I can kind of see a guy going,
I feel like you would like give girls lollipops and then punch them in the face. That's the
Good Lord, Alana.
That imagination. Let's get you in
That's
some
why
therapy.
that's why they pay me the big bucks.
My goodness. Then that's got to be fake. Mobsters don't like candy at all.
That, of course, is real. Joseph Carna of the Colombo family. His dad
Are you
was...
sensing a theme?
Can we get a score update?
It's not looking good. Let's just say that. I think it's 3-0. Of course, Junior Lollipops was the son of Lollipop Sr., who owned Lolly's restaurant. That's how they got the nickname.
That sounds good.
Alana.
Okay. Here we go.
Matty the horse.
Real.
He is. Matty Ianello ran porn in Times Square in the 70s. Jesse. Baby Shacks.
Can I get a spelling?
You can. BABYSHACKS.
Can you use it in a sentence?
Baby Shacks walk down the street.
Fake. No way.
Baby Shacks, of course, is Luigi Minocchio of Providence, Rhode Island, former boss of the New England mob. Got the name for being baby-faced and shacking up with a lot of women.
Also known as Glenn Davis in his stint in the NBA.
So I feel like
this is the wrong podcast for that. But
you're going easy on me? Is
Not
that
true.
because I'm a woman?
Not true. And Alana, your last one, Tommy Toon.
Tommy Toon. Real.
I'm going to give it to you, but he was a choreographer.
Which the biggest, scam in town.
Yeah, we can't prove it's the mob. Jesse, your last one, Hitler.
If Hitler was a baby.
Right.
Hitler.
Mob
nickname, real or fake?
If this is real, it will be the all-time bamboozling of me by you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you got the cajones to pull it off. I'm going to say this one is fake.
Hitler, of course, used on wiretaps to describe Frank Schweiz, the half-German Chicago hitman. That is real. Jesse, you got none of them correct. Alana wins.
Final score update?
Alana, 100,000. Jesse, 0. That's a...
Wow.
I guess I thought
Somebody
it was 1...
loves women.
Alana, 5. Jesse, 0. Wow. Well, that's the best decision for women that's going to come out of this Supreme Court.
That was the real numbers for Kamala.
Yeah. That's right.
Well, they really rigged it. They really did. Really terrible. Where
Once
do we
an
go
episode do you have to do
I
that?
really do. I just can't hold back. And then Jesse, this was so much fun for other people. And I hope you come back. Where can we watch you, hear you? You're like a wad of cream cheese on the TV screen, buddy. You're just smeared all over there. Where we catching you these days?
That's a lot of fun. Well, look, twitch.tv/The Go Off Kings is the place for my live video content, whether it be video gaming at an extremely high level, simply reacting to some of our favorite funny YouTube videos, or just chatting with pals. And we may have some friends coming along for the ride every now and again.
They touched. I need everyone to know. It took the whole episode, but and they're holding hands? I don't know. They're gonna kiss soon. Okay, we gotta cut the camera for the kiss, so you have privacy.
Sure.
Kiss cam.
And of course, Your Kickstarter Sucks is the podcast where many people in the room have been invited to appear. Whether or not they make their appearances, well, it's just all up to the fates. But yeah, check it out there. There's lots of talk about scams, about being a dad and being in the car dealership waiting room and what's on the TV there, how much dentistry is costing these days. And of course, a selection of fine films over on the Patreon page as well. So,
well, Jesse, all kidding aside, you're one of my oldest friends, one of the funniest people I know. Not that Alana knows, and so we're so happy to have you here.
No, I've turned. I've gone full circle.
No,
here.
You don't have to like him.
He's funnier than Joe Rogan now, in my mind, which is really hard.
Hang on.
Tell your wife about that one when you get home.
Give me something to hump. You'll see how I got it.
Bye.